Yes, my shades on. Cooking food. Noisy. All right. Let's see. All right. So I wish I could like post. Hello, Todd. I wish I could like post the thing on here. That would be a lot more helpful. All right. So let's see. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is do this video, which is specifically titled, and then I'll probably make individual videos for everybody else's questions, like Ken's questions about doing exercise into your 70s and how to prevent injuries, Tammy's apple cider vinegar question, blah 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 blah. So yeah, this one I think deserves its own response, and really I didn't want to make it any more specific than or make it a bigger deal than the fact that there's a lot I had to say about it, and I just didn't want to type it all out. That's really what this comes down to. So I just didn't want to type it all out. My God, you guys start being buttheads. Man, these guys have so much energy. All right. So basically, I'm just going to read this whole thing, and I'm going to probably stop along the way, but I'll try to get through it as much as I can, just because there's a lot in there that I want to respond to. The reason, so the post is the reason why I quit coaching CrossFit. So and then this ex-CrossFit coach goes on to say, so I fell in love with CrossFit just like everyone else. Not true, but okay. I guess he's talking to the very specific CrossFit community, which, I mean, we're one sentence in and I'm already kind of mildly annoyed because I feel like CrossFit is such a cult in some areas. It's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of Starbucks, because I worked for Starbucks for almost 10 years, and there were certain factions of Starbuckian people that were so obsessed with it that that they just, everything was Starbucks. Everything morning, noon, and night was Starbucks, and they believed every word that. Oh my God, I'm actually getting tan line from the glasses. They believed everything that Starbucks higher up said. Everything was gospel. They never questioned anything. Blah blah blah. So I can already tell. I mean, and this is just real. I didn't need this article to tell me that, but like, it's very obvious that this person's talking to those people that are just obsessed with CrossFit. Okay, so I fell in love with CrossFit just like everyone else, so much that I opened my own box and chased the CrossFit Games dream. Okay, we're two sentences in. I'm annoyed again because it's super obvious that you should not be trying to chase some CrossFit Games dream. Now, this guy goes on to say how elite he really was, very elite. But that in and of itself is not a reason to open a business. That's why gyms fail so often, because people are like, well, I can do it, therefore I'm good at getting other people to do it. Not true at all. In fact, I've seen some of the best trainers be not able to do half the stuff that they're coaching. I mean, Greg Glassman, for all of his faults, couldn't do a lick of the CrossFit stuff that he was promoting when he started CrossFit, and up until the point where he had to sell it. So, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of ridiculous. But anyway, I competed at professional events. I promise I won't stop this much. I competed at professional events since 2016 until present. My last competition would have been the Atlas Games in Canada, but canceled due to COVID. He goes on to say how fit he is, awesome, did some really cool stuff. Qualified for many sanctional events. That's really impressive. So this guy is definitely like at the elite level. At the beginning of my coaching journey, so again, we're kind of diving into something totally different. So what you can do versus what you can coach, totally different. At the beginning of my coaching journey in 2014, I thought it was the answer to everyone's problems. Again, I can already kind of see where this is going, because it's probably him thinking like his level of CrossFit versus what CrossFit can be. And to defend CrossFit, Greg Glassman was always about, and Dave Castro, always about like, the movements don't change, the level of intensity and frequency do. So everyone should be squatting, everyone should be snatching, everyone should be clean and jerking and pressing and pulling. It just is going to look wildly different between an 80-year-old man or woman and some 25-year-old hotshot kid. Okay, so if you wanted to gain lean muscle mass, just do CrossFit. If you wanted to lose weight, just do CrossFit. Again, he's interjecting this just do CrossFit, which is kind of, he's trying to like point out the fact that like you probably shouldn't just do CrossFit, which I agree with. Okay, if you wanted to be able to fly off buildings, just do CrossFit. Yeah. If you wanted to be able to pick up cars and just throw them, just do CrossFit. But as the years went on and people came in and out of my gym, only about 5% would make real changes and actually attain their goals. 9 out of 10 people who joined my gym wanted to lose weight and feel better with less clothes on. Nutrition obviously plays a huge factor in this, and I would help people as much as possible with tips and info. Oh, that's just the end of the sentence. Okay. We even began to run nutrition classes in our gym at one point to help people understand how important this is for real results. Nothing would ever really stick. Again, only for the 5%. So this part I actually kind of agree with, because I've kind of, I wouldn't say given up, but I definitely don't make nutrition. Whenever I meet with people, I'm really honest upfront about, we're not going to necessarily hold your hand with nutrition stuff. I'm willing and wanting to talk to everyone about it, and I'll have all the and there's certain clients where I have the entire hour that we're doing one-on-one training and we're just talking about nutrition the whole time, and we're arguing or we're going back and forth, or I found this article, I found this, whatever it is. So there's some people, hi honey, there's some people that like we're really talking about all the time, and then some people I don't talk to them about it at all, because the reason is because when you're talking about grown adults, it's pretty hard to get them to adhere to a specific nutrition plan, and because it doesn't happen within the gym. And really, as a trainer, as this guy goes on to say, and I'll keep reading, but this is a pretty big part, so I'm going to stop here, the nutrition thing. So, I mean, as this guy goes on to say, I mean, you can really only control what's in your 4 walls, and that really is true. I mean, some people are going to go above and beyond and take what you say to heart and integrate it into their life, and some people never are. And I'm okay with that. This guy really wasn't okay with that, so that's one of the biggest reasons why he quit. And the reason I'm okay with that, even if I know it's not going to get people to their goals, because I'm also really upfront with that as well. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh yeah, if you just come in 3 to 4 times a week and work your butt off in the gym, you'll be getting the results you want. And as I've gotten more experience as a trainer and a coach, I'm definitely more upfront with that, because it's not true. So if you think that that's true, you really need to adjust your expectations and your own expectations for yourself. And I think that's a really big part of my response to this guy was, I want to coach people to change their expectations so that they're not disappointed. And what do I mean by that? So like, if you're expecting to lose 5 pounds in a month and you're doing all this work in the gym, but you're not changing anything outside of the gym, we need to change your expectations or change your habits. One or the other. One or the other has to change. Because if you don't change your expectations and you don't change your habits, you're just going to constantly be frustrated, constantly be upset with yourself, and you will fall off, and you will like completely just be like, you know what, I'm not getting the results I want, therefore I quit. Some people even like subconsciously set themselves up to do that because they don't want to do the work, so they figure a way to basically not make it work. And even those people, I have sometimes been able to reel back in and just be like, well, let's take away the sabotage element of that. And let's just, again, adjust the expectations that you're going to gain strength, you're going to have fun, you're going to challenge yourself, you're going to get stronger in this area, you might find a new skill that you like. Like there's all sorts of other goals that we find that maybe don't adhere to the most common one, which is I want to lose weight. Okay. And I do agree with this guy's premise that there's a certain subsection of people at any given gym that are going to excel. There's a majority that are going to do good, not great. And then there's a small amount that will fall off. I actually kind of likened this to Starbucks, which was at any given time, let's say you have 20 employees, there's going to be 3 or 4 that are just going to be kick ass. You can give them any kind of task you want them to do. They'll do it with flying colors. They're always going to be early. They're always going to show up. They're always going to cover shifts. They're just your superstars. The majority, about 80% of the people, maybe 75 to 80% of your employees are going to be good, not great. That's the majority of the reflection on you, like in your coaching and your training, and you're holding them accountable, blah, blah, blah. And then there's going to be about 3 or 4 at the bottom that are just always going to drag ass, and you're going to eventually have to either, kind of keep writing them up and change their behaviors, or they're just going to quit, or you're going to have to fire them. So that's really the same thing in the gym. Now, I definitely pride myself on not having people that are like in the bottom, like if that's the case, then we definitely need to have a conversation. So it's never gotten to that point with me. I don't think it ever will. But the majority of the people kind of live in that middle where there's going to be good days, bad days. Life's going to happen. Sometimes we're going to have weeks off. Sometimes we're going to have weeks where we're taking on the world. So it's going to be kind of all over the place. Okay, so we're moving on. So the last thing he was talking about was nutrition is really important outside the gym. So the last 3 years of coaching, more and more people that came into my CrossFit box put such an emphasis on killing themselves in workouts. We didn't push this. Thank you for that. It's just the community. It's what the community in general pushes. So this is also another interesting thing about this. And speaking of things that happen outside the gym, it's time for me to turn my Brussels sprouts. This is another interesting thing that I think is an underlying message in this article, which is the fact that when you specifically affiliate with CrossFit, you're kind of held to certain expectations around like, oh, we are a CrossFit, therefore we must do Murph the way it's written on Memorial Day. Okay, we must do the main WOD that's on the main site every single day. There's all sorts of interpretations, I think, as to what people think that is expected of them. I don't think there's actually a lot of specific direction coming from CrossFit.com or the main CrossFit. I don't think that that's the case. I just think that people kind of say, we are a CrossFit. There's CrossFit on the front of the building. Therefore, we kind of have to live up to this expectation, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want to specifically affiliate with CrossFit, even though what we do at the quad is very CrossFit-esque. I don't think we need that much time. These things are already done. Yeah, so I think that's really fascinating and this kind of goes back to the Starbucks thing where it's like you're expected to have a certain, like it's almost like a corporate expectation, right? So, but that really can't be what's going on in your box. And I do know for a fact that there's all sorts of CrossFits out there that are kind of working outside the norm. They have like maybe an older clientele, maybe they have a younger clientele, maybe they have a more sports specific clientele, maybe they have a freaking hospital in their CrossFit. So there's all sorts of different paradigms and different models for CrossFit. So I'm not sure. This guy obviously felt really, really kind of like beholden to a certain thing. And I think it almost sounds like and I've definitely seen this before, and this can happen even in, again, I hate to say it, in Starbucks, where the people who are working there or people who are coming to your gym almost do start to kind of dictate the vibe of the place, and that can be a problem. So again, it feels like this guy really got pushed into that, and that sucks. So he said movement integrity slowly diminishing and thinking the faster they go, the fitter they are. Again, I have to point this out though, that that's on you. In CrossFit, there is a certain amount of being okay with people's form diminishing and then maybe going to coach them afterwards. Or, hey, those first 3 sets were great. Last 2 kind of got iffy. Sometimes it's yelling at them in the moment. Sometimes it's just letting them do it. And I think people kind of get surprised when I let them do that too, which is another thing I've kind of learned along the way. I used to like correct people like right away and be like, no, you can't do that. No, sometimes you just got to let people fall. Like my way of teaching barbell cleans now is so much different than it was 5-10 years ago, however long we do this. Because at first I was trying to teach every single little piece of minutia around the clean. And now it's like, I'll teach you 3 things about it, and then I'll let you bumble and stumble through it. And then we'll kind of peel it back from there. And then we'll go forward and then we'll peel it back. So, and that tends to work better for people. They usually, again, we're all adults here. Like we're treating everyone like a grown human adult. So, most people like to kind of just get their hands on stuff and just kind of do it and then look for feedback. Like, am I doing it right? Doing great. Or, keep doing 3 more and I'll tell you after the set. Maybe it's a safety thing. Maybe it's just I need to see more, kind of stuff like that. So again, those are all things that go through my head. It really seems like this guy kind of started getting overwhelmed with all the people in the gym. And again, I totally get it. Like, that's why I didn't want to be a CrossFit specific, because people will walk into your gym expecting we must do Murph exactly as written on Memorial Day. Where's the weight vest? No, I saw this on. I mean, even in our gym, we do things like, hey, I saw this video of this person doing this workout. Can we try that movement? Can we try this? I do that all the time. And I can only imagine how much more of a pressure that is on a CrossFit specific gym. So it's got to be tough. Or the crazy, disgusting, the workout looked cooler it was. We're all guilty of that too. Unfortunately, neither of these resulted in people becoming the person they wanted to become when they started. Somewhere in the mix, goals changed from feeling better with less clothes to going faster. Okay, so now we're going to kind of get towards the end of this, and this is where the whole goal setting thing, and this I really wanted to touch on this too. And as going faster felt good temporarily, the real goal from beginning still was haunting them in the background. So again, I don't think there's anything wrong with changing your goals as you go. In fact, I tell people from the onset, you will change your goals within the first 6 weeks you're here. It will be about losing weight. And then in 6 weeks, you'll be like, I really want to be able to do 100 kettlebell swings within 10 minutes. So I want to be able to lift 100 pounds off the floor. I really want to be able to walk down the street and not be out of breath. All these kind of physical, mental, cardiovascular, strength-based goals, they start to pop up in people's minds. And that's actually what I like to gravitate towards, because that will keep you, and we can kind of connect that back around to, hey, this is also how you can help yourself lose weight. You build some lean muscle mass. It'll actually help you burn more calories. It'll help your hormone balance. It'll, help with your hunger. I mean, it can do all sorts of crazy things. I mean, it's really insane if you just put on a little extra muscle mass, what positive benefits could happen for, men and women. Hi, honey. I know you're having fun with Mousy, huh? Oh my goodness, Dad, I'm playing with Mousy. Okay. Goodness, I'm telling you, Pippa's like the worst now. Stop. I'm so full of life. I must annoy my dad. So I actually like that when people. But it's interesting. These people were so tortured or so haunted, as he says, about the goal of losing weight. I've never had somebody. I guess that's not true. I have had one very specific person that I can think of and we actually worked for a good year, maybe a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. That they had this weight loss goal. And of all the things that we kind of layered on top and all the things, they never really connected with a lot of strength or cardiovascular goals. They just they trusted me, and they knew that what I was saying was or showing them was good stuff. But really, and I think if you asked them right when they kind of fell off and quit, they would have said, I didn't reach any my weight loss goals, therefore I quit. But really, the reality is, and this was a long time ago, so I guarantee if you ask them now, they would be more truthful about it or more specific around the fact that they just didn't enjoy the process. And that's one of the big things here is you have to trust the process. So and yes, the process does involve doing a lot of things outside the gym. And that's definitely something I want to say is that, a lot of this is stuff that you must do outside the gym. Eating well, sleeping well, meditation, maybe some sort of fasting. I mean, there's a million bazillion things you can do outside of the gym that are absolutely gonna affect your results. Who of them things is hot? I think we're good. Let's just turn that off. But the reality is that there's only certain amounts of people that will actually make. First of all, there's only a certain percentage of people that will actually show up to the gym on a regular basis. So that first and foremost is huge. So again, if people actually will do that, and I can get them to do that, then I say that's a win, right? So even if they never change anything about their diet, that's still a win. Now, if somebody comes to me and says, yeah, I eat McDonald's every day, I'm not going to be okay with that. I'm not saying I don't have scruples. I'm not saying that I'm not going to be like, dude, really? Can we not do that? But again, people that work with me don't do that because they know I won't accept that. And so I think it really comes down to, for that section of the whole weight loss thing, the people who, in my experience, and it's not a ton of experience, but it's a decent amount. In my experience, the people who hold on to these weight loss goals and either don't see any results whatsoever or use that as an excuse to quit are the ones that really don't want to do the work in the first place. And so they're always going to find a reason. You didn't give me my results. You didn't give me that. And I used to get really sad about that, and really offended, because I've lost a couple people along the way, maybe 3 or 4. And that one person that I was referring to earlier was the only person that actually worked with me for a considerable amount of time and then fell off. I could definitely say that they all had something in common, which was I could tell from the beginning that they just weren't committed to the process. And that's all I can say about that. So it's weird that this person had people that were really into the workouts, but not into the not into the outside stuff at all, because usually people kind of start putting both together. So that's a very interesting subsection of people that he was dealing with. Again, I don't know if the solution is to just quit, which is like, so maybe it is to quit CrossFit. Sure, I'm down with that. But not to like say that like, I can keep going on this forever. Okay, so anyway, let's see. Okay, but even as a coach and continually reminded members about how to reach their said goal, at the end of the day, for some reason, faster was better. Again, the fact that this person, like, I don't know, the fact that he kept holding on to that, I think is a mistake. Like, if you say things out loud, like, hey, you're not going to reach your goals unless you do this, and then people still do it, that's all you can do. And then you just keep controlling what you can control, which is the training. And if they're going fast and being shitty in the training, you can control that. So you need to stop that. Now, if they are going shitty and fast in their training and then also complaining to you about not getting results, again, these are all still conversations I feel like you can have with people. So I don't understand why this person was running up against this so much. And he says, I'm not bagging on CrossFit. I'm not going to use the word he uses because I don't like that word. I'm bagging on the gym model. There are a couple people who do it the right way. Most don't. So again, yeah, I mean, if you're having an issue with the CrossFit model, I could see that, sure. But again, the people and the coaches create the setting, not CrossFit. CrossFit's a name, it's a methodology, it's a framework. It's not like Starbucks in the sense that it's like they're going to be on the phone with you every single day telling you exactly how to do it. They're going to be sending you emails like, you must put this signage up, you must put this workout up. They're not doing that. So like, you as the coach and you as the people really are making it live. And again, I can only harken back to my experiences at Starbucks as a manager, which if my store sucked, that was a reflection on me. It wasn't because I hired a bunch of like kids who sucked. Like, I didn't train them right and I let them get out of control, or I let some sort of negative thing fester. So I guess I learned a lot from that, because that did actually happen to me. I would kind of ignore problems, and then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, a couple of months later, a couple of years later, all of a sudden we've got a kind of a problem in the store, and I kind of didn't take care of it right away, or kind of ignored it. So I don't think that would ever happen in the gym here, because as much of a community that we are, I'm not gonna I don't think people would ever do that. But again, who knows? I mean, sometimes, I've seen certain groups like really they can turn into biker gangs, man. Like, I get it. So it sounds like this person really had an experience where like 10, 15, 20 people all started to get like kind of the same attitude, and then that can be overwhelming. So I'm not trying to be harsh to this person, but again, I really think that a lot of that is a reflection on you. Okay, so here we go. So he says, vision's blurred. If there wasn't such a thing as a community, most people would quit CrossFit just like they do other things, because they truly aren't reaching their goals and it's not answering the real problems. If you want to feel better with less clothes on, the real answer is, what are you doing outside the four walls of the gym? Because truthfully, what you're doing inside the four walls equates to about 10%. I think that's a little low, but I get the point, which is you're only in the gym for, let's say, 1 hour a day. Let's say 1 hour for 5 days a week. So that's 5 hours. And that's a lot more than a lot of people do. Most people only do like 3 days a week, 2 days a week, right? So that's 2 to 3 hours a week out of, so many hours in the week. So I totally do get that. Okay. What happens outside is what really matters. Again, I don't agree with that. Because just the process of getting into the gym, walking through the door, can change your entire mindset. Lifting a PR can change your entire mindset. All these things can have positive effects, both mentally and physically, that carry on throughout. Like, it might be that next workout that actually changes your mind and says, you know what, damn it, I'm putting my foot down and I'm stopping eating hot dogs and cookies every night. It might be that workout. So it might not actually be the results from the workout, but it could be the mental, be like, you know what, I'm tired of like working so hard in the gym and not seeing results. So I think there's a lot more than just the workouts that go on in the gym, and I'm sure this person agrees, but so it really becomes so much more than 10%. So for this reason, I don't coach CrossFit anymore, nor will I ever tell someone to go sign up at a CrossFit gym probably ever again. Again, that's just using common sense. Like, you've seen the writing on the wall for the specific CrossFit gyms. You've seen what it can look like in a really negative way. And totally, don't just, who would just blankly say, go do CrossFit? I guess there are people out there that do that. I've just never been that way. So And he says, P.S. I still do functional movements. I just do them in a way that doesn't leave my body feeling like a pile of bones. I totally do agree with that. And even for myself, and this bleeds into my training for other people, I've definitely been guilty of making myself feel like a pile of bones. I've definitely been guilty of making others feel like a pile of bones, and maybe not in an appropriate way, maybe too often. So I will admit to that. Like, I've definitely been guilty of that, and still to this day I'm guilty of that. So it's always a checking and adjusting. Who is this appropriate for? What's the stimulus for? So like today, for example, we did a fractured kind of version of Murph. I scaled that specifically for everyone who came into the gym, even if people were going to do it at home. Specifically post-COVID, we haven't been in the gym for a long time. Now, some of the people that were there have been in the gym this entire time on one-on-ones, and some people haven't been, or been in intermittently, and some people haven't been in for a while. But the way that I scaled that workout as the coach, I decided myself to make that decision. If I were to say everyone that's showing up in the gym today to do Murph the way it's written, that would be so inappropriate of me as a coach. I should be fired. I mean, that would be ridiculous. Okay. So, but some people do that, and so I get that, and that's not okay, because that's really inappropriate. And you have to know as a coach what's appropriate scaling for other people, even if they don't like it. You have to know that and say, you know what, this is more the appropriate way to do it. And everyone still gets a great workout. Everyone's still lying on the floor, but it's way more appropriate than just, go do Murph for a while. See you later. I mean, and I'm sure there's gyms like that out there. So the last thing I'll say about this, and we'll wrap this up, this guy kind of finishes with what's your goal. And one thing I do want to do this year, since there are 3 of you watching, thank you for staying with me, as I do want to make goals again. So we're gonna erase what's on the goal board right now, because really none of that ever worked. And so I've kind of gotten reignited as to, based on this whole rant, is like, how does goal setting actually work for some people? Because some people, it's never really worked for me, to be quite honest, just to write something down and say, I want to do this. But like, so maybe basically being more tangible with our goals. Like, by this date, I want to be able to do, or I want to at least be able to say that I've practiced barbell cleans 5 times. Those are the goals I actually used to. I learned this from one of my reading things. I was a really bad reader in high school, and so I had this like reading coach basically that like helped me goal set. And because I was like, I can't read a book. I can't sit down and read a book. And they're like, you're just going to read. I need you to sit down and yeah, totally. It might not have anything to do with CrossFit. So like, but he would basically say like, okay, within the next 5 weeks, you're going to read 5 pages. I mean, it started off like really, really small increments, and that actually worked for me. That might not work for some people. That might be so micro that like it really doesn't work for some people. But whatever we wrote down before, really, to be quite honest, hasn't worked. And so I'd be interested to see if we can come up with some creative ways to make goals for the summer, for the rest of the year. Now that we're kind of coming back into the gym, I think it's time to kind of, because I wrote up a bunch of goals like sub 5-minute Fran and all this kind of stuff. That wasn't really goals that I wanted. I just kind of was like, that would be cool if I could do that. And that's not really what it's about. So like for me, what are goals actually that kind of trigger and inspire me personally? Well, one thing might be, and this actually goes for, I think, a lot of people, which is if there's something that you keep saying, I wish I could do blank, a lot of times it's pull-ups for people. Come into the gym, we might do 50 workouts before the fact, that they sit there and say, oh yeah, I still can't do a pull-up. And so I think sometimes kind of people like look at me like, why haven't you gotten me to a pull-up? Well, because if you're coming into the gym 1 time a week or 2 times a week, that's not, my goal is not going to be able to get you to do a pull. Unless you make that a goal, like, and you make that a passion, like, I really want to do pull-ups today. Great, we're going to do pull-ups today. Or I want to learn whatever skill it is, okay? But yeah, I mean, there's so many different kinds of goals, and it could be weight loss related. And I guess when I meet people or talk to people about weight loss goals, I tell them straight out, if we're going to be serious about a weight loss goal, then we are going to get into the weeds about food and nutrition, lifestyle outside of the gym. So be ready for a 40-year-old man to tell you, 55, 65, 60-year-old person how to live your life and how to go to bed, because that's going to be kind of what it is. And some people aren't comfortable with that. And so I do kind of have to preface that. But yeah, I definitely like the idea of goals. I really want to like see what we can do as a group to kind of figure out, or maybe it's even individual, just as to what we can figure out will actually work for people. And it might just be one goal. It might just be one singular thing, one singular sensation. By July 1st, I want to be able to do a Turkish get up with a 24 kilo kettlebell. Great. What is that going to look like? Okay. Every single time we're doing a warm up, grab yourself a light kettlebell or medium kettlebell and practice some Turkish get ups. And the next time you come into the gym, post the group workout, I might have you practice a couple of slightly heavier Turkish get ups. And then by the time that July 1st comes around and I can see that on the board, I'm going to give you a text or shoot you a call and say, hey, we need to come into the gym and actually test this bad boy and see if we're there yet or whatever it is. So like actually doing actions around that kind of stuff. Yeah, your goals might not be anything, CrossFit or gym related. I mean, as we all know, this is all so connected. Maybe it's just I want to show up and or I want to reignite my passion. It could be something as broad as that. I want to reignite my passion. Great, let's have that conversation. What got you passionate in the first place? We can rewind all those emotions and we can untangle all those webs because when you're doing this for so long, you do have to reignite your passion. You do have to find new skills and new passions within new strength goals. And like again, I'll cover on another video, but like when you're getting older and older and older, every single year, every single decade of your life, your goals might look completely different. So you do have to adjust your goals. And again, going back just to tie this with a little bow from the beginning, you do have to change your expectations. And I think that's one of the biggest things that gets in people's ways. And this sounds like it happened with this group, was they never changed their expectations from day one. And although they were staring this awesome thing in the face of like, oh my God, we can do all these things. And again, maybe they did it inappropriately, but like they found this methodology that was fun, that was engaging, that was challenging. They wanted to do sick, crazy workouts. Great. As a coach, you harness that. But the fact that they never let go of this like really vain, like I must lose weight kind of thing and let that dominate them to the point where it was distracting, I think that's just so problematic. And they just never changed their expectations. And so they let themselves down basically by that's actually a really good question, Tim. Yeah, that was my point on that. But basically, they just never changed their expectations. So you're always going to be disappointed, and you're kind of self-sabotaging without even knowing it. Okay, so lastly, if each of us has a unique goal, how does that get incorporated into the daily workout? Great question. So like, for instance, Todd has been doing a knee program to help rehab his knees. And basically, I gave him a 20-minute program because it's been such an issue for him, and it's been something that's been holding him back from doing workouts. I created a 20-minute program for him that he's been doing every single day. And sometimes it's a part of his warm-up. Sometimes it's something he's just doing on his own, but basically that's how you would do it is. So, and I've kind of always said this before, but it's, I keep reiterating it because it is a point, which is if I make a group workout, let's say it has, like today's actually a really good example, okay? Ring rows, ring push-ups, and ring squats. If you look at that workout and you're like, this is gonna be a killer workout, I'm gonna get 10 rounds, 12 rounds, this is gonna be killer, love it. Great, then do that. If you're looking at that workout and you're like, I'm tired of doing ring rows, Erik, how do I progress towards a pull-up? Can I do deeper ring rows today and maybe do less amount? That's a wonderful way to integrate and scale for yourself and to integrate the goal of a pull-up into a workout, and it might change your expectations. So for Tammy today, I was saying, hey, maybe slow down the pull-ups or the rows and the push-ups and just kind of take a pause on them since they were easier for her, but she's supposed to be going easy because of the surgery. So like, there's so many different reasons why you would either go harder, faster, heavier, slower, whatever it is. And a lot of times that is how you integrate your goals. So like Todd at home, all of a sudden started doing kipping pull-ups because he's like, hey, I can do these and we got a pull-up bar. And so he started to kind of integrate kipping pull-ups into the workout. Well, that was a great way for him to not only get a killer workout, but also work on his pull-ups. So that's really how you would do it. And then beyond that, and kind of to Todd's point when he first sent me this, which is you do have to do other things than just an hour a day. I mean, there are things we can do to integrate it into the workout and be creative and kind of work smarter, not harder kind of thing, or maybe not take up a whole bunch of time as this video is. We're almost there. We're almost done. And but you do have to do things outside of class. That's just the reality. Okay. So if you really do have a passion, I'm here for you. And if you really do have an issue, a nagging injury, I'm here for you as well. But we're going to have to do something on the side that's going to help address that. It's not necessarily going to be something we can always fit into the hour, but there are ways to fit it into the hour. So great example. If you're totally just dead dog tired and completely injured and you're a bag of bones, as this guy talked, great. Come into the gym. We'll figure out something completely different for you to do today. We'll have you foam roll and stretch on the TRX and we'll call it good. There's always something you can do. And there's, kind of like Allie was saying today, like, can we please not do any arms tomorrow? Well, no, of course we're going to do something with the arms tomorrow, but just come into the gym. We'll figure out something for you that's appropriate. Okay. The hard part about goal setting is breaking them down to achieve bite-sized sub-goals. Is a way to measure your progress towards your goal. Yeah. So, I mean, again, we're all adults here. So like, if you guys have a way that like goal setting has worked for you in the past, I'm all ears. Like, I'm not like I just said earlier, I've never been a goal setting guy. And in fact, that was one of my biggest downfalls at Starbucks as a manager, because I was terrible at setting goals. So I'm a big, like, I got to stay in the moment and kind of like be like, dude, today, what am I feeling? I'm feeling kipping box muscle ups. Okay. As a way to work towards high rep muscle ups. I don't know. It's whatever it is. So like, if you guys have something that works well for you, or you've seen it, I'm all ears. But yeah, I definitely like the idea. Moving forward, and to end this video, I do want to do some sort of goal setting, because I think that is a good thing to kind of spark, it's been a while since we've done that, kind of reignite, like, man, I really, we've been doing this for a while and this is still kind of something I can't do, or I'm still having endurance issues, or I'm still having recovery issues, or I'm still having injury issues, or I'm still having, all those things we can definitely address. And I definitely want to do that, because if you don't, to this guy's point, it can fester and become a problem and start to kind of, in your brain, without you even knowing it, sometimes kind of get you down about what you're doing, or maybe feeling like less than, or maybe feel like you're not going towards your goals when you actually are. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. Yeah, Tammy, to your point that you just wrote on there, absolutely true. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon. And again, the other things that you guys wrote in, which you can continue to do so and ask questions, I'll be addressing them either in a one-off video or maybe put a couple of them together. But usually I like to kind of stay focused on one thing. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.